everyone. Hello and welcome to the Irvin J. Nutter Center. It's Raider basketball. Along with Kevin O'Boyle, I'm Geoff Kim, and we are pleased to have you as the women take on the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee Panthers. And, you know, Kevin, they come off of a tough loss to Raiders, too, by 26 to Wisconsin-Green Bay. How do you see them rebounding this afternoon?
Well, you know, they have to put all the distractions about the weather out of their minds. They got to concentrate on basketball. And these are two teams that are identical records, 4-8 overall, 0-1 in the conference. The Raiders really need to get this one.
And with that, we'll come back with all the play-by-play. It's the Raiders and the Panthers, and we'll have that coming up right here on Media One. Stick with us. Hello and welcome to the Irvin J. Nutter Center. It's Wisconsin-Milwaukee and Wright State going head-to-head in this women's matchup right here on Media One. I'm Geoff Kim, joined along with Kevin O'Boyle, and we're glad to have you along for this one. And let's give you the starting lineups while we have a moment. First for Wisconsin-Milwaukee, they come in with a record of 4-8, 0-1 in the conference. They'll run a three-guard set with number 10, Daryl Schaffeld, number 11, Terry Stoltenberg, and number 25, Corinne Von Wald. The forward is Amy Wardle, and the center tonight, number 45, Kelly Lubers. And their head coach, Sandy Botham. For Wright State, they will run a couple of guards, number 10, Chanda Hollingsworth, number 24, Mandy Jelinek. The center tonight, number 41, Lenora Combs, and the forwards are number 22, Regin Stewart, and number 40, Jess Vandergeest. They are led by second-year head coach, Lisa Fitch. And as we bring Kevin O'Boyle into this one, well, doing double duty today, huh?
Sure am. Got the Butler Bulldogs coming in this evening to take on the Wright State Raiders. Raiders looking to go 2-1 in the MCC in the men's standings. Well, business at hand here is the Wright State Raiders women trying to go 1-1 in the MCC, even things out.
Kelly Lubers will tee things up with Jess Vandergeest at the center Wolf. Head official Bob Trammell puts it in play, and it goes to Wright State, and we are underway here at the Nutter Center. On the outset, Mandy Jelinek. Over for Chanda Hollingsworth, her running mate at guard. This one out of bounds, last touched by number 30, Amy Wardle, the 6'1" senior out of Clarendon Hills, Illinois. I mentioned that because she's out of my hometown of Hinsdale, Illinois. She went to Hinsdale Central. So anyways, the inbound goes to Chanda Hollingsworth for three, knock it down. And quickly, just like that, it's 3-0 Raiders.
Chanda hit 6 against Wisconsin-Green Bay earlier this week, so important for the Raiders to establish that outside presence.
And a good way to start. They go down low, off glass, up, no good. Rebound, Jess Vandergeest.
Last time down, Wisconsin-Milwaukee went in a man-to-man.
Vandergeest around to Hollingsworth on the near side.
Switch it up this time and go zone.
They go 2-3 right now with 10 on the shot clock. Jelinek still looking, finds Hollingsworth, another three attempt, and it's short. Coming up with it is Corinne Von Wald. It was partially blocked, actually.
Amy Wardle, important to get that hand in the face defensively, that time redirecting that shot.
Reach and foul against Jess Vandergeest. Her first and the team's first with 18:53 left to play in this first half. Non-shooting foul, and the inbound will come far baseline. Wardle finds Schaffeld. And underneath. Contact over there. No, actually out of bounds, and we'll get another inbound play.
Mandy Jelinek picked up the personal, so two personals this trip down by the Wright State Raiders defensively.
Wardle finds Schaffeld up top. And this one taken away by Jelinek. Control break. Will hold up shop, wait for her teammates. Stewart has it, her first touch. This one touched away, but Jelinek will run it down. 15 on the shot clock. 2-3 zone setup for Milwaukee. This one tagged, but Stewart catches up with it. 5 on the shot clock. Hollingsworth will pull up for three, and it's a little bit short. A 30-second shot clock violation. We will head the other way.
So important to get your hands out defensively, and that time Corinne Von Wald, a couple of tips. It's something that coach always likes to see, tip balls, because you never know where those deflections might go and they might end up in your teammates' hands.
Terry Stoltenberg controls, goes for Schaffeld, now finds Wardle up top. Wright State, pretty good defense. Corn Von Walt feeds underneath, goes for Lubers, and a foul underneath.
Lenora Combs will pick up the personal foul, but good aggressive man-to-man defense by the Wright State Raiders.
We're 17:46 into this ball game, and already three team fouls rather against Wright State. Stoltenberg in the lane, pulls it up, too strong, and the rebound goes to Jess Vandergeest, and she's going to have to be a factor tonight.
Jess Vandergeest, one of 2 Wright State Raiders the last couple of weeks, named Players of the Week by the MCC as Jess travels that time down the lane.
She does, and it's a turnover here to Wisconsin-Milwaukee. They're still down by that 3-0 margin. The initial points being put up by Chanda Hollingsworth, who continues the hot streak of shooting from last Thursday.
Regin Stewart, the other honoree by the MCC for the Wright State Raiders.
Schaffel finds an opening, goes underneath. It's off the bottom of the glass, and Jess Vandergeest comes down with it, and the foul will go to Schaffel. Her first, team's first.
All MCC a year ago. This year, maybe down a little bit production-wise, averaging just over 10 points a ball game for the Wisconsin-Milwaukee Panthers. And she'll check out of the game. Take a seat right next to head coach Sandy Botha.
She will, and number 34, Nicole Luxinger will come on in, a 5'10 sophomore guard out of Janesville, Wisconsin. Lenora Combs has this one poked away, and here comes the Panthers. Stoltenberg. Going for Von Wall, pulls up 16 home. 3-2 in favor of Wright State. We have 16:45 left to play in this first half.
One of the things the Wright State Raiders have to guard against was the fact that Wisconsin Green Bay, the last outing, over 53% from the floor, and you get a hot shooting club, especially right there, a nice look from the basket by Von Wald. You get established outside, and watch out, the lights could be out before you know it.
Foul goes to Terry Stoltenberg, her first personal, team second. Obviously the non-shooting foul, and the inbound will come from Regin Stewart. Jelinek at half court, literally at half court, calling out directions. Now going to the hoop, and will dish the other way. The pull-up, Regin Stewart, and that's home. No, wave off the basket. It'll head the other way. An offensive foul against Wright State.
Jelinek perhaps went a little bit too strong to the basket. One of the things there that the coach will always try to say, if you got a good look and you're driving towards the basket, put it up anyway. You never know. It's a 50-50 chance whether you're going to get fouled or commit the foul yourself.
See there on the replay, and as we're back to action here, up in the front court. Stoltenberg, the give off, Wardle, and a traveling violation on Amy.
Good defense that time by Jess Vandergeest, right there in the face of the Wisconsin-Milwaukee Panther player, and causes that turnover.
Stewart the inbound, and we'll see pressure up front. Token pressure, and going back on defense are the Panthers. Stewart behind the arc. Gets a screen, goes for Amber Williams just into this ball game. Now back up on top. This one touched out of bounds. A nice block by Kelly Lubers. And we have an official timeout. So with 15:41 left to go in this first half, it's a 1-point ball game, and we'll be back in just a moment. We have a pitcher's duel here at the Nutter Center, 3-2 in favor of Wright State. The points all coming from Chanda Hollingsworth, an opening 3-point shot to put the team in the lead.
And Hollingsworth took another 3-point basket the next time down for the Wright State Raiders, but was well short of the mark. Amy Worrell had good defensive pressure for Wisconsin-Milwaukee. But since that time, good defense by the Panthers, because the Raiders really have not had a good look at the basket since that opening minute of play.
Wright State wanting to show a little bit of intensity out on court, and why not? They got blown out in their home gym 2 nights ago against Wisconsin Green Bay by 26 points. And in fact, the first 6 points were scored by Green Bay en route to the win. Amber Williams out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, the freshman. Now Now Chanda Hollingsworth. Here's Williams, three. Up, no good. And the rebound, Combs. Combs strong to the hoop and will kick it back out.
By the way, mistake there by Combs of putting the ball on the floor. She had the presence of mind to take it to the hoop. However, putting it down stopped the momentum going towards the basket. Nice play inside.
Nice play indeed. Just Vandergeest the deuce. It's 5-2. A deflected pass, but it goes to Vandergeest well in position. Luxinger back up top, Wardle. One bounce pass underneath. Now the kick out. Going back door, shot put up high off glass and home. Corin Von Wall, the 5'9" freshman out of Hudson, Wisconsin.
Hollingsworth caught a step out of position that time as Von Wall made the quick cut to the basket and was open for the pass.
The dump off. Here's a shot for three. Knock it down. Amber Williams with the tray. It's 8-4.
Good shot that time by Williams. I'm sure Sandy Botham is going to tell her team not to let the Wright State shooters, especially from outside the arc, get that open of a look at the basket.
Going underneath, shot put up and home. Kelly Lubers gets the deuce. It's 8-6.
Good turnaround jump shot that time by Lubers.
Pressure up front. Token pressure. Regin will break it. Up front, Vandergeest. Open 18. Home.
You let the Wright State veterans in that time, Vandergeest, get that open of a look at the basket, they're going to put it down almost every time.
10-6 with 14 minutes left to go in this first half. Going far side with Luxinger. Back up on top for Wardle. One bounce pass, Lubers puts it up. No good, and Regin Stewart will track it down. Stewart gets the ball back from Hollingsworth. This one nearly deflected away, but coming up with it is Chanda Hollingsworth. 13 on the shot clock. Williams feeds underneath. Vandergeest in the paint. It's on the floor. And Lenore Combs puts it up, and that one is a little too strong. Amber Williams the rebound. But turned on over to Wisconsin-Milwaukee's Corin Von Wall. Stoltenberg has it now. Von Wall. Looking baseline, pumps it, no good. Regin Stewart the rebound, and here come the Raiders. Williams closed off on the baseline. I'm sorry, Kevin.
Raiders had a mini break there, but Williams was knocked off on the break. Good defense and getting back by the Panthers.
Shot is up and no good. Coming down with the loose ball, Corin Von Wall. Carrie Bender waiting to check in for Wright State on the next timeout. This one stolen away. Regin holding onto the ball. Now will dump underneath. This one out of bounds. Last touched by Wright State, and Wright State botches up an easy deuce attempt.
Maybe not the best decision that time by Regin Stewart because she had the chance to pull it back out and run the offense rather than try to force it inside. She had a good defensive play and then gave it right back.
Combs and Stewart will sit, and coming on in, Carrie Bender, the senior out of Canfield, and Janine Andrews, the junior out of Indianapolis, check on in. Von Wall up high. The dump off, Stoltenberg gets a pick, gets a double pick in fact, and now feeds underneath. The kick out, Schaffeld back in the game, open J, no good. Loose ball goes to Bender. Williams back up on top. Now they keep it around the arc. This one taken away. Schaffeld will feed it up ahead. Von Wall to the hole. No good. Off the bottom of the glass. Schaffeld comes up with it. Gets second chance and puts it home.
Good play there by Schaffeld. Following up the miss by Von Wall and then completely faked the Wright State player out to try to make the move. A nice double team by Von Wall and Schaffeld in the front court led to that chance.
Averaging just over 10 points a ball game. It's 10-8 in favor of Wright State. Williams ponders the open three, will give to Bender. Bender in traffic, goes for Williams. In the lane, up no good. Vandergeest, a second chance, no good. Williams will go up strong off the front, and the rebound underneath to Janelle Jonasson. And a foul underneath.
Amber Williams is going to pick up the personal. And that's one of the things you see so many times. You try so hard on offense to try to make the basket, and then you get called for the defensive foul right after you give up the basketball.
And with that, we'll go to a break right now with 11:10 left to go here in this first half. Raiders by 2. We'll be back in just a moment. Both teams about even. It's 10-8 in favor of the home team, the Wright State Raiders. And in fact, Kevin O'Boyle, we talk about this team and how even they're playing with Wisconsin-Milwaukee. But the one thing that's got to concern you right now, 6 turnovers already, and we're just 11-10 on in.
And that's one of the things that hurt the Raiders against Wisconsin-Green Bay a couple of nights ago. 19 turnovers and 11 of them in the first half. That is something that I'm sure that Lisa Fitch would love to see go away, because every time you turn over a basketball, that's a missed chance that you yourself can get a 2-point or 3-point chance at the basket.
Stoltenberg with the ball, on over near side corner, Von Wald. Now back up on top, Sheffield passes up the 3 and gives it up, poked away, out of bounds, and Wright State will take over. Nice defensive play by Mandy Jelinek.
And the other thing that would be concerning me if I was Lisa Fitch, the fact that the team's only shooting 33% from the floor, only shot 30% against Green Bay a couple of nights ago.
Carrie Bender, cross-court pass, Amber Williams. Defense catches up. Williams triggers a 3 and knock it down.
Good running of the offense that time between Mandy Jelinek and Amber Williams led to that open jumper.
Williams has 6, better than her 5-point average per ball game. And a foul.
It'll go inside on Janelle Jonason.
Jonason, that's her first. Team's 4th.
A little bit too happy with the elbow inside.
Chanda Hollingsworth back into this ballgame. In fact, they'll reset. Bender, Hollingsworth, Regin Stewart, Amber Williams, and Janine Andrews are the 5 out on the floor for Wright State. Bender. Avoids the 5-second call. Now goes for Williams from 18, leaves it too strong. And the rebound underneath Janelle Jonason.
Maybe a bit forced that time by Amber Williams.
Well, it looked like the exact same stroke she was trying to shoot with the 3. Chappell, 15 on the shot clock. Gives it up. Von Wald will keep it out on high. Nowhere to go. Beats the count, and this one nearly turned over, and a foul underneath, and they're going to get Amber on this one.
Wright State had very good defensive pressure that time down the floor, almost forced Milwaukee into committing a shooting clock violation, but the defensive foul against the Raiders. There you see at the very end.
First one is home for Terry Stoltenberg, 82% shooter from the cherry stripe on the year. Von Wald will check on out of this ball game, and number 34, Nicole Luxinger, will check back in. Second of 2 coming on up. And it's a 3-point ball game, 13-10 with 9:43 left to play in this first half.
One of the things the Raiders are going to have to do is not let Stoltenberg go to the line. She's the best Panther from the free throw line.
Hollingsworth. Amber Williams. Now back up on top. They play the 2-guard possession. This one in and out of hands of Regin Stewart, and catching up with it is Chanda Hollingsworth.
Raiders had a chance. They didn't spot Carrie Bender. Stoltenberg had fallen down, and Bender was cutting towards the basket.
Regin had an open J, no good. Rebound to Janelle Jonason. Feed underneath. Turn around J, and that is home.
A good move by Jonason, because a good defensive pressure by the Raiders. Janine Andrews right before that, and then Jonason turned her feet, went the other way, and then caught the pass and went in for the basket.
1-point ball game, 13-12. That much time on the clock. Williams up on top. Regin Stewart, this one out of bounds off of Regin, and will head the other way. Kelly Waters will check in on the dead ball. See who she'll take the place of. And Regin Stewart will come on out.
I think Waters is going in more for the fact of letting Regin Stewart know on the sideline that hey, we got to get our heads back into this one. It's only a 1-point game. We should be playing a little bit more, better than this.
Stoltenberg on the near side. The dump down. The put up and home. And Wisconsin-Milwaukee takes the lead for the first time this afternoon. It's 14-13. Pressure on the inbound. Token pressure, rather, and then Chanda Hollingsworth will still keep it herself. Williams, now for Chanda Hollingsworth, 3, and it's a little long. Waters tracks it down, and a nice play for her. Bender, Williams. So they reset the clock, and now we have 20 on the shot. Goes to the hole, up no good. But the call will be against Wright State. A charging call against Amber Williams.
Look from here that Luxinger did have her feet set when Williams went in, but anyway, the call goes against the Wright State Raiders, and Wisconsin-Milwaukee will have the basketball.
And we have a timeout on the floor, so with 7:48 left to go in half number 1, the Panthers take the lead. It's 14-13, and we'll be back in just a moment. 1-point ball game between the Panthers and the Raiders here in this Midwestern Collegiate Conference matchup. Leading the way for Wright State in scoring, Amber Williams. She has the hot hand, better than her 5-point average per ball game. She has a pair of trays and 6 points this afternoon.
Key for the Raiders here after this media timeout, it's going to be how they come out the first minute. You recall that first segment of the ball game, they really did not have a good intensity. They had the media timeout, and the Raiders played very good basketball for that next 4-minute stretch. Since the second media timeout, that other 4-minute segment, the last one we played, Raiders really didn't play that good. So let's see if the magic Lisa Fitch could work there, and that timeout huddle works for the Raiders here this next segment.
Stephanie Kaufman in the ballgame. She inbounds to Corin Von Wald. Von Wald trapped up. Now goes for the star on the team, Daryl Schaffeld. Schaffeld driving, puts it up, blocked. Regin Stewart, good D on her, and she'll take it up court herself. Up ahead, Bender, open 3, and leaves it short. It's out of bounds, and we will head the other way.
Maybe not the best look at the basket that time down by the Wright State Raiders. It's one of the things they're going to have to guard against is trying to force the offense, take full advantage of that 30-second shot clock. And a long ways to go in this game.
Offensive foul will head the other way.
Raiders catch a break that time is Corin Von Wald guilty of the offensive foul.
Blocking an illegal screen, and we'll head the other way. Raiders down by 1 with 7 and change left to play, first half. Bender passes up the open look. Now goes underneath, and this one intercepted. Taken away by Von Wald. She's been everywhere so far this first half. Schaffeld, guarded by Stewart. Now back up on top for Von Wald. The dump down, the turnaround J, too strong. It's dumped out of bounds.
There's a good battle going on underneath by Janelle Jonason and Janine Andrews. Andrews for Wright State, Jonason for Wisconsin-Milwaukee. A lot of pushing and shoving and banging down low.
Just the way they like it, playing it physical and tight to the vest. Up on top, coming back into this ball game, Amy Wardle. This one on the floor, and Wright State takes it away. Here's Chanda Hollingsworth, and here come the Raiders. Stewart, back up on top for Hollingsworth.
Here's where the Raiders are going to have to be patient, not force the shot.
Bender still looking around, cross-court pass. Regin Stewart, 3, knock it down.
That was a good patient trip down by the Wright State Raiders, and it paid off because Regin Stewart was wide open for that shot.
Put on the line, call it a 2. Raiders lead it by 1, 15-14. Luxinger up top, goes for Jonason. Guarded by Andrews in the paint. And a foul on the play. Call it on Janine Andrews.
Andrews her first. Raiders have a trio of players with 2 personal fouls right now. Reason why Jelinek, Williams, and Vandergeest not in the lineup.
Andrews will come out. Lenora Combs, the starter, will check back on in. Janelle Jonason to the line. She's a 6'1" sophomore. Front end of the 1-on-1, no good. And she tracks down her own mistake. Schaffelt goes for Wardle for 3. A deep water 3, no good. And count it. A nice play by Luxinger as she went to the hole, put it down, and will get a chance for an old-fashioned 3.
Luxinger, good offensive presence that time down, and a 22nd timeout being called for by Lisa Fitch. That time down, Luxinger took it right strong to the hoop. That's one of the things that I'm sure that Sadie Botham is pleased with there by her player getting a chance, as you said, Jeff, for an old-fashioned 3-point attempt.
Kelly Waters, guilty of the foul, her first, and the team's 9th already. So we have 5:43 left to play in half number 1. And it's been a back and forth tight to the vest ball game. Now the Panthers regain the lead 16-15. So Luxinger will head to the line, where she's a 68.5% shooter from the charity stripe this year. Old-fashioned 3 is good. And a 2-point ball game now for the Panthers as we have pressure in the Raiders' backcourt. It's on the floor. Regin Stewart comes up with it and nearly traveled, got away with one, I think. Raiders break the press. Regin Stewart down low. Kelly Waters, low block, no good. Gets her own rebound, stick back, and no good, but a foul underneath.
Kelly Waters that time, once she caught the pass, put the ball down. That's such a hard habit to break because she had the open lane in the basket. Once you catch that pass, folks, you've got to make that move and put it right up. You can't afford to take the dribble because about 7 times out of 10, you're going to have it swatted away by one of the defensive players coming back. That time she caught a break and got fouled.
Waters, perfect from the charity stripe this year, continues to be so. Foul is on Amy Wardle, her first, and the team's 5th. Waters? Yes. And we are tied at 17. Von Wald. Going to the far side, Luxinger. Luxinger baseline rebuffed on the double team and goes for the star, Daryl Schaffelt. Pulls up and the foul underneath. Foul on the shot and the hack on Regin Stewart. 10 team fouls now for Wright State. So a 2-shot opportunity now for Daryl Schaffelt.
First trip to the line for her.
Shooting 64.5%, and that first one is home.
If you get past Stoltenberg for Wisconsin-Milwaukee, really no one shooting over 70% of any consequence. At least the ones that get a majority of the playing time and have been at the line of more than 10, 15 times.
Schaffelt gets both, and now we'll head on out of this ball game and we'll give way to Stoltenberg. So one guard replaces another, and the Panthers lead it by 2. We're under 5 to play in the first half. Stewart the give off. Hollingsworth now goes.
Oh, there was a foul.
For Lenore Combs. Now Hollingsworth for 3, knock it down. Chanda Hollingsworth, a couple of trays this afternoon, and the Raiders retake the lead by 1.
Wide open for that shot, but there should have been a whistle right before that.
Wardle from 18, leaves it short. Fought for, still on the floor, out of bounds, and it'll remain a Wisconsin-Milwaukee possession. Here's open look from 18, no good, and Kelly Waters the rebound.
Once again, the Raiders a 1-point lead. They need to be patient, get a good look this time down.
Stewart on the floor, goes back up high for Hollingsworth. Now back for Regin. Sets up the pick, goes back, Hollingsworth, 3, and too strong. And the rebound to Kelly Lubers. They go quickly up ahead, Corin von Wald. Stoltenberg. Wardle drives, no good. Stick back attempt here for Corin von Wald, no good, but she comes away with the ball and a fresh set on the clock. Wardle, one-on-one against Bender, and an offensive foul against Amy Wardle. We'll head the other way. Nice D on Carrie Bender.
With the elbow right there, Wardle, that was what got her the foul.
We have a timeout on the floor. We're under 4 to play. Raiders by 1, and we will be back in just a moment. (20-19) with 3:30 left to play in half number 1. Geoff Kim, Kevin O'Boyle, we're pleased to have you along on this very brisk January afternoon. I'll tell you what, Kevin, did you have a little bit of a hard time coming on in like I did today?
I didn't have any problems at all. The highways were in good shape. Probably the only difficulty was scraping the ice off the windows. That I had to turn the van on and let it warm up for about 5-6 minutes before I could get out there with the ice scraper. I broke my wife's ice scraper the first chance I had at trying to scrape the windows, so got to make a trip to Kroger or Meyer to buy her a new one.
Well, we are glad to bring you this one as you folks at home can stay on home. Regin Stewart, pull up, 18, too strong. And the rebound underneath to Janelle Jonason. Stoltenberg in a big old hurry. They go underneath, now the kick out. Jonason, too short. And the rebound goes to Lenore Combs, just back into this ball game.
Been a tale of 2 teams for the Raiders. Let's see how they play this time after the media timeout.
20-19 is your score. Waters over for Lenore Combs. And a little holding foul underneath, going to the hoop. Kelly Lubers will get her on that one.
Lubers will pick up her first.
Combs will get a 1-and-1 opportunity. Shooting 70% from the charity stripe this year. Front end, and it's no good, and brought down, loose ball, Janelle Jonason. Luxinger home. Second time she's made that move tonight, and it's 21-20.
Nice head fake by Luxinger. Allowed her to get an easier look at the basket than probably what she should have had that time down.
Game high 7 points for her. Waters rebuffed on the baseline. And Regin Stewart fouled on the way to the hoop by Luxinger.
Stewart 63.6% from the free throw line. Is going to get a chance here. Going to take another look at it. Stewart got it out about the foul line and then brought it down and a hack on Luxinger.
And then she says, who, me? 2-shot foul, Regin. First one, no good.
I think that's part of the repertoire for everybody who plays basketball. Anytime you get whistled for a foul, you say, who, me?
Luxinger checks on out, and Daryl Schaffeld back on in.
Hey, ref, I was on the bench when you blew that whistle.
The second one is no good, and the rebound to Jonason. Corin von Wall, a little Showtime move off the leg of Chanda Hollingsworth, and another possession and a fresh 30 for Wisconsin-Milwaukee. They're up by 1 with 2:06 left to play in this first half.
So important to play real tough D the last 2 minutes of every half.
Von Wald home, and no, wave off the basket, a traveling violation on Corin von Wald.
A little bit too much of a rush to go to the basket that time. Reason why the travel was called.
1 point lead for Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Hollingsworth up top. Regin Stewart has had an opening for a second. Now Lenore Combs for 3, knock it down.
This afternoon, Jeff, you notice every time the Raiders have been patient, got a good look for the open shooter. They've been successful here this afternoon against Wisconsin-Milwaukee.
2 point lead for Wright State. Jonason, high off glass, no good, and a high flying rebound to Regin Stewart. Regin on the move. Up top, Lenora Combs. Drives, pulls up, goes down the Waters, in and out, and the rebound to Jonason.
That was a great move by Combs right at the free throw line to get that shot off.
Lubers back up on top, Jonason. Now Schaffeld will kick it back on out as we have a $1:03 left to play here in half number 1. Von Wall behind the arc, 10 on the shot clock. Underneath and taken away.
Good defense by Carrie Benders. Got the deflection and then got the steal.
Bender to Waters. Now Lenora Combs. We'll pull up another 3 and knock it down.
That time Lubers wasn't fooled on the move by Combs, but she played off her just enough to let Combs take the shot.
Lenora Combs, 2 straight threes, and the Raiders up by 5. Schaffeld behind the arc. 1 second differential on the shot clock and the game clock, and a foul underneath. And we will head the other way. Wright State will get the benefit of an offensive foul against Wisconsin-Milwaukee.
And we're going to more than likely see the Wright State Raiders with 18 seconds left to go play for the last shot.
And why not? They're up by 5, and they have a chance to up the ante. Lenora Combs has it poked away and has it stolen away. Here's Corin Von Wald in transition underneath. Jonason off glass and home right at the buzzer.
Good defensive presence by the Panthers led to that transition basket and cuts the lead to 3 as we head to the locker room.
And we do. We're at intermission. The Raiders 26 and the Wisconsin-Milwaukee Panthers 23. Coming up at the half, we'll talk with Assistant Athletic Director and Senior Women's Administrator Julie Cromer, and with that, we'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to the Nutter Center. We're at intermission between the Raiders and the Panthers, and I'm here with Assistant Athletic Director and Senior Women's Administrator, I got that right, Julie Cromer. And of course, Julie, you just came over from the Midwestern Collegiate Conference main office in Indianapolis. How do you like Dayton?
I love Dayton. Right now, I think I've had about enough of the winter weather, but all of us have. And I think Indianapolis is actually a little bit worse, so I got out just in time. But I'm having a good time here.
Now talk about some of the duties you have here. Let me see if I got this straight again. Senior Women's Administrator. That's quite a mouthful.
Right. I am the Senior Women's Administrator, which means I administer all of the women's sports here. We have 7 women's sports. But that's only half my job. The other half is to be the compliance officer who is responsible for NCAA and MCC legislation here on campus.
And that's got to be quite a job because of all the legalities that the NCAA does have. I mean, if you break one minor violation, that could be a stern punishment.
Well, yes, we have 2 types of violations, secondary and major, and a lot of schools deal with secondaries because there are so many rules. It's hard to keep track and be on top of all of them all the time. We have a manual that has over 400 pages in it for NCAA membership alone, and then we have another 300-page conference manual. So it is a lot to keep up with, and we try to steer our coaches and educate them so that they know what the rules are.
We said quite a workload. Of course, whenever I think administrator, I usually think 9 to 5, but you have definitely more than that.
I would love 9 to 5. Actually, I don't think there is such a thing as 9 to 5 in college athletics. So many of our events are run on weekends and evenings, and 9 to 5 is the time when you can try to get some of your office work done, but the real fun begins after 5 and then on Saturdays and Sundays when we're playing ball.
Now, in talking to you before this ball game, you said they pay me to come out to these sporting events. So you really do think this is one of the better jobs that you can find?
Absolutely. We were joking earlier about working on a campus versus working in a conference office. And for people who work out in the real world, as we call it in athletics, who are bankers, teachers, doctors, lawyers, they think it's great that we get paid to come to these events. And of course, it's a little bit more than that as well. College athletics has grown into such a business that we apply a lot of the same principles as some of those other real job areas. But it is fun. It's fun to come to basketball and say that I get paid to do that.
Now, part of your responsibilities also deals with having to deal with these students and coaches on a daily basis. Talk about that.
That's a lot of fun. One of the reasons why I came to a campus from a conference office was to get a little bit closer to the student athlete. And I think you and I were talking earlier, it's nice to have my office door open to 18 to 22-year-olds who are in college on a campus trying to decide what they want to do with their life, and in our case, using athletics to help them answer some of those questions.
And it's got to be a big boost, really, when you talk with these students, because I'm sure they're looking for guidance as well as, friendship and whatever else, relating within or without the court.
That's true. Actually, the joke in my office is usually they're out of money and they want book money or something like that when they come in to talk to me. But that's absolutely true. It's hard at 18 to 22 to know what you want to do with the rest of your life, and that's one of the valuable lessons athletics can give to people, a sense of confidence and self-esteem so that they can go out and make those decisions. And it is nice to be able to be a part of that for some of those people.
And I'm sure you can also help relate with life on the road, too.
So yeah, life on the road is difficult more in a time management standpoint from student athletes, but it's a great experience for them. Some of them come from, the Midwest and have not been exposed to other areas. Just about a month ago, I went on a trip with a women's basketball team to Florida, and for some of our team members, it was the first time they'd ever had a chance to fly. For some of them, it was the first time they had been in Florida. We got to go to Disney World, and there are great things about life that they get to experience kind of off the court through their involvement with athletics.
Now, we talked a little bit about the inclement weather outside. You'll be heading out into that weather, going to the NC2A convention. Talk about
Right.
that.
Well, I'm going to sunny San Antonio, so if I can make it out
that's
of the
just terrible.
airport, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm heading down to the convention. We have two things that are happening there, really. One is an NCAA forum that happens on Monday and then part of Tuesday. And then the second part of that is the MCC meetings. We meet 3 times a year, and the second of those meetings is Sunday in San Antonio.
Now, whenever I associate the word convention with anything, I'm thinking warm locale and a lot of vacation time. That won't be the case for you.
Well, warm locale, not much vacation time. We have meetings that run from about 8 o'clock in the morning until through the evening. We have festivities with honors dinners and that type of thing. The most important thing we're doing is trying to shape the future of college athletics from a bigger perspective. We work on a campus every day and we deal with Wright State issues, but when we go to these meetings, we start looking at college athletic issues.
Well, Julie Cromer, Assistant Athletic Director and Senior Women's Administrator.
That's right.
First of all, thanks for joining us here at halftime, and to have a safe trip.
Thank you.
And with that, we'll come back with more in the second half. We'll be back in just a moment. And welcome back to the Irvin J. Nutter Center. A 3-point lead for Wright State, 26-23. Along with Kevin O'Boyle, I'm Geoff Kim. And once again, we are pleased to have you along for this one right here on Media One. As we mentioned before, this one being played tight to the vest. In fact, both teams shooting the same, 9 of 25, 36%.
And the difference in the ball game has been the 3-point shooting by the Wright State Raiders, 6 of 12 from behind the arc. And we talked when we were away there at halftime, the fact that the Raiders are 3 of 13 inside of the arc, you'd almost expect it to be the flip-flop, the worst shooting percentage from outside, rather than in close to the basket.
It has been a game of streaks here, scoring-wise for Wright State. First it was Amber Williams, followed by Jess Vandergeest, and then now back outside to Chanda Hollingsworth.
And that's one of the things that Lisa Fitch is probably pleased about, the fact that she doesn't have just one person with a hot hand, that at any one point, one of the players that's on the floor can step up and pick up the pace.
So as we have just a couple of minutes left to go here in this intermission, let's go down through the scoring summary. First for Wisconsin-Milwaukee, the visiting team, Daryl Sheffield, 4 points. Terry Stoltenberg has 2, 4 for Corin Von Wald. A team-high 7 points for Nicole Luxinger, 4 points for Janelle Jonason, and 2 points for Kelly Lubers. 9 of 25 from the floor, 0 of 1 from behind the arc, 5 of 6 from the line. They are shooting 36%. They're shooting 83% from the charity stripe. They've turned over the ball 11 times. And that's the numbers there for 23 points for Wisconsin-Milwaukee. For Wright State, and they're 26 points. 6 points for Chanda Hollingsworth on a couple of trays. And Regin Stewart has a pair. 2 more trays for Amber Williams. She has 6 points. 2 points for Kelly Waters. 4 points for Jess Vandergeest. And 6 points for Lenora Combs. 9 of 25 shooting, 6 of 12 from behind the arc, 2 of 5 from the line. They're shooting 36% from the field and 40% from the charity stripe. They turn over the ball 10 times to comprise their 26 points. So in wrapping kind of the summary on up as we look towards the second half, well, hopefully if you're the Raiders, more of the same.
You're going to have to get more intense. That's one of the things. They've only had about 2 or 3 stretches in that first half where they played probably the way that Lisa Fitch wanted to play. Let's see which team comes out of the locker room here in the second half.
Something that you had mentioned in half number 1 was the fact that every time that we had a timeout, they looked like they were a different team about that first minute.
And it's so important that when you come out of a break like that, you got to establish the momentum. You got to establish the tempo. That's one of the things they did twice in the first half. Unfortunately, there's 5 of those segments in each half, and they've got to do it every single time.
keys to the second half? What do you think?
More of the same, continue the hot hand from behind the arc. But another thing is they're going to have to eliminate some of the ticky-tack type fouls, because Wisconsin-Milwaukee 5 of 6 from the line. If they get a lot of opportunities here in the second half, that's where they can keep it close.
And in fact, as we are looking towards the second half, I think another key might be the play of Janelle Jonason. In fact, we had watched her. She had accounted for 4 points, which doesn't say a whole heck of a lot, but she had been around the ball quite a bit, and she also does have a game-high 8 rebounds. And that's pretty impressive, since the fact that she didn't come in as a starter tonight for Wisconsin-Milwaukee.
And that's going to be one of the things we'll see in the second half, too. The battle that was developing between Jonason and Janine Andrews there in the first half. They went at it hot and heavy a couple of times down low. And Jonason, a couple of good moves. But then down the other end, Lenore Combs had a couple of nice moves, and one of them freed up herself for a three-point shot, and then another time opened up Carrie Bender for a shot. So let's see how the, so we say, the battle of the inside people goes here in the second half.
Well, both teams come into this ball game with a record of 4-8, each 0-1 in the conference. Of course, Wright State lost that ball game on Thursday night against Wisconsin-Green Bay, 71-45. So the inbound will come from Jonason, and it'll go to Stoltenberg, and we are back underway here in half number 2. Going on over far side, Korn Von Wall back up on top, Daryl Schaffeld. Schaffeld looking for an alley. Rebuffed by Regin Stewart. Von Wall, the dump down. Turnaround, no good. And the rebound to Regin Stewart. Regin will go to Mandy Jelinek. Now Jess Vandergeest gets her first touch of the second half. Guarded by Jonason, now back up on top. Wisconsin-Milwaukee in a man. Vandergeest now back up on top, Chanda Hollingsworth. Mandy Jelinek passes up the 3, goes baseline, Jess Vandergeest, and that's home.
Nice open look from the basket by Jess right at the baseline, and a good jump shot.
Jess Vandergeest with 6 points of her own this afternoon, 28-23. A low-scoring affair in half number 1. Jonason underneath, goes for Lubers, has her pass blocked away, and Regin Stewart will come up with it, and she is fouled.
One of the things that the Panthers did not do in the first half was get into early foul trouble. This time down, this foul coming very early in the second half.
Foul by Daryl Schaffeld, her second, the team's first of the half. Regin Stewart, the inbound, goes to Mandy Jelinek. And once again, very token pressure on the outset.
Another thing we're going to have to keep our eyes on here in the second half will be the play off the bench. Think that Wisconsin-Milwaukee not as deep on the bench as perhaps Wright State is. Let's see how the fatigue factor might come into play.
Lenora Combs, the runner, that was no good, and Jess Vandergeest on the rebound was fouled underneath.
Good move by Combs, good presence right there on the court by Jess Vandergeest.
Regin Stewart, the trigger. And goes for Vandergeest up in the low block, no good. This one kicked out of bounds, it'll be a Wright State possession.
No one really got themselves into position to take the pass from Vandergeest. She sort of had to force that shot. Luckily for the Raiders, it went off of one of the Panther players.
Back up on high, Mandy Jelinek. Regin Stewart now, nowhere to go, now back up on top. Jess Vandergeest, back over for Jelinek. 13 on the shot clock. Jump stop, Vandergeest the give, no good. And the rebound underneath by Korn Von Wall.
Twice we've seen Jelinek pass up open shots when she was making the move to the basket and kind of catch her teammates by surprise with the passes. Some she's got to work on. If she's going to make that move like that, she's got to take it in herself and then hope that the teammates get in position for the rebounds.
Schaffeld pulls up, 18, short. And foul underneath the basket.
Jonason's going to get whistled for the foul. So Wisconsin-Milwaukee getting into some foul trouble here early in the second half.
She was over the back of Lenora Combs. And here comes Wright State on 0. 17:32 left to play in this ball game. Vandergeest, a little floater, no good. And Wright State comes down with it. Hot-handed pass to Regin Stewart, knocked out of bounds, and it'll head the other way. Last touch by Stewart, and a nice bit of defense by Corin Von Wall.
I think Regin took her eyes off the pass right at the point the ball was entering her hands, trying to make the move to the basket before she had the basketball. The reason why it went out, then she had to fight for it and went off her hands out of bounds. And we've got a 20-second timeout called for before we start up court.
We do. Charge to Wisconsin-Milwaukee, and we'll keep things right here as we have 17:15 left to play and this ball game. And just a reminder, you can you can hear Kevin again tonight.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the first MCC game here at the Nutter Center this season for the Wright State Raiders. Played even Steven in the Windy City, or should we say the Snowy City last weekend in Chicago. I don't think the folks over there in Chicago quite expected to see that much snow in one storm. The Raiders got both of the games in, however.
You can hear the men's team, or watch the men's team rather, against Butler on tape delay tonight at 10 o'clock. And of course, Kevin O'Boyle and Mark Vest will have that one for you. Von Wald strong to the hoop and fouled on the way.
Nothing that Chanda Hollingsworth could do on that one, except maybe hope that Von Wald would miss the shot and then be forced to try to make it the hard way. Nice move.
Peter right off the dribble. And the first free throw by Corin Von Wald is home, a 70% shooter from the charity stripe this year.
Forced, earn it the hard way.
Both of them home. 3-point ball game in favor of Wright State. High inbound to Jess Vandergeest. Stewart brings it up, guarded by Corin Von Wall. Vandergeest. Now Chanda Hollingsworth, the little runner for Regin Stewart. Oh!
Nice play there by the Wright State Raiders, and Stewart got herself in position to take the pass. Made a good shot.
30-25, Wright State by 5. This one out of bounds. It'll still be a possession towards Wisconsin-Milwaukee.
Going to see Amber Williams here.
Sophomore from Fort Wayne, Indiana comes on in. Chanda Hollingsworth comes on out. Stoltenberg, the trigger. Here's a shot for 3, knock it down. Daryl Schaffeld trying to come alive here in half number 2 with 7 points. It's a 2-point ball game, Wright State.
Regin Stewart's got to play a little tighter defensive pressure there on Schaffeld. Can't let her get that open of a shot off, especially the fact that you've got a pretty smart player in Schaffeld, all MCC a year ago.
Stewart back up on high for Williams. Manny Jelinek thought about the 3. Now we'll go for Jess. The kick out. Williams, 3, knock it down! And it's 33-28.
Once again, the Raiders, when they've been pressed, when they've been patient, worked for the open shot. It's been successful for them. Back out to a 5-point lead.
Luxinger holding on to it for Schaffeld. Gets a screen. Now gives it back on up, Corin Von Wall. Stoltenberg cross-court pass, last touch by Wright State, and it'll still be a Wisconsin-Milwaukee possession. And we have a timeout on the floor, so with 15:24 left to go in this ball game, the Raiders by 5, and we'll be back in just a moment. 5-point lead for Wright State and Kevin O'Boyle. This will help you a lot. The Raiders up by 5, and the reason? Well, they're shooting 54% from behind the arc.
And that's one of the things we had noted there at halftime, the fact that the Raiders keeping up that hot hand from outside. They were at 50% in the first half, improved that a little bit here in the second half. And they've also improved the overall shooting percentage. It was in the low 30s at halftime, now almost up to 40%. They're getting a lot better looks at the basket. They're playing a lot more intense on defense. And So far here in the second half, things looking their way. Let's see how they respond here after this media timeout, however.
Terry Stoltenberg up off glass, no good, and the rebound to Lenore Combs just back into this ball game.
Good defense by Amber Williams that time. Stoltenberg had to force the shot.
Lenore Combs, three, knock it down! And it's 36-28. The Raiders opening up an 8-point lead there, biggest of the game.
It's so very much important for a basketball team when your big people can shoot the three. That time Combs getting her third three-point shot of the night.
Schaffeld's three is short. Regin Stewart, the loose ball. And on the run, goes for Williams. Nice move in the lane, and no good. And the rebound goes to Wisconsin-Milwaukee up ahead. Corin Von Wall to the hole, and no good.
And if you notice that time down, you got Von Wall coming down with all the Jets and afterburner, and everybody else for the Panthers was behind the half-court line. Sandy Botham's going to get three fresh bodies out there. Did not like the intensity that time on that transition by Wisconsin-Milwaukee.
Vandergeest to Williams. Now for Regin Stewart. Reach and foul will go against Corin Von Wall. Boy, that wasn't obvious at all.
Von Wall picking up the personal foul, and third team foul. Three fresh bodies out there. Get our first look at Sarah Marnishu coming in. One of the, shall we say, one of the tougher players for Wisconsin-Milwaukee, at least on paper, to begin the season.
This one last touched out of bounds by Stoltenberg. The five on the floor. Daryl Schaffeld, Terry Stoltenberg, Sarah Martish, and Stephanie Kaufman, and Lubers. Little floater in the lane, and Mandy Jelinek scores. It's a 10-point lead for Wright State, 38-28.
Mandy Jelinek trying to use as much of their, shall we say, jumping ability as she possibly could, floating in midair, and a nice move to the basket that time. That time didn't pass it off, took it herself.
Martish guarded up high by Williams. Gets a pick. Now picks up her dribble, in trouble, goes on over for Schaffeld. Screen, the give off. Shot attempt, three. Too strong, and the rebound, Regin Stewart. Stoltenberg had the open look, just couldn't complete. This one intercepted by Martish. Stoltenberg has it.
Raiders with their biggest lead of the ball game.
Going on over, Kaufman to the hole, home. Nice little left-hander for Stephanie Kaufman, her first 2 points of the ball game, and an 8-point lead for Wright State, 38-30.
The freshman out of Ottawa, Illinois, a nice move by Kaufman that time. Another thing that's important too is to go with that offhand, that left hand, right hand, whoever's your shooting end, switch it over.
Nice shot for Regin Stewart as she drills it home. And once again, a 10-point lead for Wright State.
So many times you favor that strong hand, and defense knows they can force you over, try to make you to go to the hand you don't want to shoot with. That time switched it over and made the shot.
Kick ball, fresh 30 coming on up. Kelly Waters will check back into this ballgame. So will Chanda Hollingsworth. Mandy Jelinek will come out. So will Regin Stewart. Janine Andrews will also wait to check on in. And she will do so for Wright State in place of Lenora Combs.
So important getting fresh bodies in, especially you get to this point here in the second half, your body starts to maybe ache a little bit, you get a little bit tired. Get some fresh troops in there, important, wearing down the other team.
Nicole Luxinger with the ball, back into this ball game in place of Daryl Schaffeld. 20 on the shot clock. The pull-up, shot put up by Barnish, no good. And the loose ball goes to Chanda Hollingsworth. Waters with the ball, her first touch of the half, gives it up, Amber Williams. Now just Vandergeest, one-on-one, pulls up, and too strong. And the rebound, Waters, turnaround Jay, and no good. And the rebound by Stephanie Kaufman.
Waters, good presence right there underneath, put the ball up strong. The only thing that didn't go right for is the fact the ball didn't drop in.
Miscommunication on that play, and Wright State will take over, and we have a timeout on the floor. So with 11:56 left to play in the ball game, Raiders by 10, and we'll be back in just a moment. Well, the Raiders have outscored rather, Wisconsin-Milwaukee by a margin of 14-7 since halftime. They now lead it by 10 with 11:56 left to play in the ball game, 40-30. And Kevin O'Boyle, they're shooting better from the field overall.
Two of the things that's got them this advantage: patience on offense and intensity on defense. It is often one of the things that is overstated, but it's so very important because when you got the basketball, you hear so much. You want to, maybe let some of the playground moves, the things you learn when you're going one-on-one with your friends, take over. When you're playing a team sport like basketball, all 5 players have to be in the game. When you're on defense, you got to get your hands in the face of the shooter, deny on defense. The Raiders been able to do that here in the second half.
Chanda Hollingsworth with the ball up top. Screen by Amber Williams, now to Waters. Williams goes for Vandergeest, open for just a second, but no more. Hollingsworth now for Williams, open 3, and it's too strong. Jump ball, and it's up in the air, and a foul underneath. Corin Von Wald went for it, and it looks like they're going to get Kelly Waters with it. Actually, no, they're going to get Jess Vandergeest with the foul.
Jess Vandergeest picks up her 3rd personal. See if Regin Stewart comes in for Vandergeest here on the next dead ball.
Only the team's 2nd foul of this half, a marked improvement from the 1st. Double team, now a triple team underneath on Kelly Lubers, but Milwaukee will retain possession. Mardish.
Regin Stewart doing everything she can to try to steal the basketball. Hasn't been able to come up with it, however. Good Bob there. Good job.
Here's Jess Vandergeest. One-on-one to the hole. Yes! And the Raiders by 12, their biggest lead of the night.
You say it so many times, sometimes it becomes old hat. Hard work pays off. The Raiders' good defensive presence that time down, and it paid off with the easy layup.
Kaufman up high, going far side. Mardish nearly traveled with it. Luxinger pulling up, missed everything. Kaufman comes down with it. 4 on the shot clock. We're going to have to shoot. Mardish, and the rebound will go to Milwaukee. Von Wald gets a screen, going up strong, low block and home.
That time the Raiders backed on inside and let Wisconsin-Milwaukee dictate the fact that they were going to bring it in as far as they could before they put the shot up. But the Raiders, you get set for 30 seconds, you try to go for 60, it's a little bit tough.
42-32, we're under 10 minutes left to play. Turnover, Wright State will head the other way, and mass substitutions coming in for both sides. But a timeout charge to Wright State.
20-second timeout. That time, Hollingsworth slipped before the pass came in on the inlet. The reason why she wasn't able to catch up with it. But one of the things I've noticed that the last couple of minutes or so, the fact that Lisa Fitch, I don't know if she's allowed a smile to crease her lips, but definitely a little bit of happier here in the second half with the performance of her team. On the other hand, Sandy Botham a little more animated than what she was in the first half for Wisconsin-Milwaukee.
A reminder, folks, Wright State will take 3 on the road after this ball game. Then they'll come back home on the 23rd of January, and they'll face Butler in an MCC contest. And barring weather, Tony Resch will rejoin me. And of course, we do thank Kevin O'Boyle for filling on in. Very fine job this afternoon, sir.
Anytime that I can work with a pro like yourself, Jeff, always a pleasure.
Thanks for the compliment. Jonason gets the basket, and it's now an 8-point Raider lead, 42-34. The dump down. Lenore Combs, triple team, has it blocked away, the follow and good! Count the basket and the foul. Amber Williams on the follow, and she'll go to the line for an old-fashioned 3-point try. The foul is on number 11, Terry Stoltenberg.
And Lenore Combs and Amber Williams doing their impression of Mark McGuire and Jose Canseco when they played for the Oakland A's, the Bash brothers, after that move, bumping each other in exuberation.
This free throw attempt, this one out of bounds though, and Wright State will get on O. They're up by 10. Gretchen Stewart back up on high and stolen away. Corin Von Wald up ahead, and she is fouled on the way to the hoop.
The pass was telegraphed. Von Wald, I could see that coming from right here, anticipated it, got in front, stole the ball, and then took it down. But she's going to have to earn it the hard way at the free throw line. She's going to have to make them both.
Amber Williams came up lame after running down Von Wald on defense. She looks to be okay, just a little gassed. First one is home for Von Wald. 3 of 3 from the line this afternoon. Team's leading scorer at 9 points. Eight-point ball game now for Wright State with 9:17 left to play in this ball game. Jelinek and Williams, 3, too strong. Lenore Combs, stick back, no. Underneath, Kelly Waters gets the rebound, the kick out, and Jelinek will reset the offense.
Combs a little bit too hard there on that one-hander down low. Good presence, though, on the rebound attempt.
From 16, Jelinek no good, and the rebound goes to Wardle.
Got to expect that anytime you get 3-4 looks at the basket like Wright State did that time, that one of them is going to fall.
Going near side with Luxinger. Now back up on top, and a foul away from the ball.
Nora Combs is going to be guilty of the personal foul. So the Raiders with Vandergeest and Combs each with 3 personal, or rather, Combs, it's her second.
Speaking of Jess, she comes back into this ball game, so does Chanda Hollingsworth. As we reset, Hollingsworth, Stewart, Jelinek, Vandergeest, and Combs, the 5 on the floor. Pope from the free throw line is home for Corin Von Wald. 12 points for her.
Von Wald used the screen that time to get that open jumper. Knocked it down.
The lead has been cut in half from 12 now to 6, 44-38. Here's a shot for 3, knock it down, Chanda Hollingsworth.
What a way to answer the streak by the opponent. Knock it down from outside like that. Stem the bleeding.
9 points for Chanda. Up near her average on the year per ball game. Daryl Schaffeld back into this ball game, controlling. And a reach and foul on Regin Stewart.
Regin Stewart a little bit too aggressive that time defensively. Reaching in, picked up her 3rd personal.
Timeout on the floor. We have 7:48 left to play in this ball game, and the Raiders lead it by 9, 47-38. And we'll be back in just a moment. Raiders by 9, 47-38. And while we have a moment to actually talk about this, of course, the men will play Butler University, the Bulldogs, tonight. Kevin, of course, you had to play on that one. Talk about Wright State. They're done a little bit. They went 1-1 on their trip to Chicago, but this is a team now that's starting to run a little bit more and finding their groove with Nelson, May, and of course Keon Brooks.
You said it right there. May, Melson, and Brooks, the triumvirate for the Wright State Raiders, and head coach Ed Schilling. And I think there's a team that's found its identity and realized that they can win in adverse conditions. You have the weather and the fact that you've never won a basketball game in Chicago. They were able to do that. The only thing they wanted to do was maybe face Loyola the first time instead of the second time after Loyola had won a game. And the only negative on that trip by the Raiders, and hopefully they'll overcome it against Butler tonight.
Stoltenberg will control up top. Now going for Corin Von Wald. Schaffeld, open 3, will take it, and will leave it short, and the rebound underneath, but an offensive foul underneath. It's going to be on Jonason, and we'll head the other way.
Jonason a little bit too strong of a presence underneath, fighting with Combs for the rebound. One of the things, though, before that was the fact they let Schaffeld have that open look for the 3-point shot. They can't let that happen.
Vandergeest picks up her dribble. Still some token pressure, one-on-one. Jelinek up ahead, Combs, head of the key.
You let the strong presence on the opponents, in this case Schaffeld, get a couple of baskets under her belt here. It's only a 9-point lead right now, but quickly it could trickle down to 2 or 3, and could head down to an exciting finish.
Combs pulls it up, a little prayer, no good, and the rebound by Luxinger. Stoltenberg back up on top, Von Wall. The dump down, and it's off the hands of Jonason, will head the other way. Surprise, surprise, Janelle Jonason hasn't been quite the factor that she was in the first half with her 8 rebounds in half number 1. And she has really nothing to show for it here in half number 2.
And it's been some good defense by the Wright State Raiders in the second half. Andrews, Combs, and all have really done a good job on her here in the second half.
Regin Stewart jump shot, and that is home, and the Raiders go back to a double-digit lead, 49-38. Von Wald, guarded by Regin Stewart. Man defense.
Good man-to-man defense by the Raiders.
The feed goes underneath to Jonason. Double teamed, now the kick out. Luxinger, the kick out to Von Wall, baseline. Nowhere to go there, so she'll kick it back out. Now Jonason, in the lane, puts it up and home, and count the foul. Oh, well, you want to talk about a bit of luck there. Shooting it right at the buzzer, getting it to go, and she was fouled underneath by Jess Vandergeest.
And Vandergeest, you may have made a case that that shot came right as the buzzer was shouting. It was very late. Good defense by the Wright State Raiders, limiting Wisconsin-Milwaukee's good looks at the basket.
Jonason 0 of 1 from the charity stripe this afternoon, and she'll remain 0 for, and the rebound will go to Mandy Jelinek.
Good job there by Jelinek, rebounding off the missed free throw.
Traveling violation on Mandy, just a lack of concentration right there, and they turn it over to Wisconsin-Milwaukee.
Saw the open player down low for the pass, picked up her foot, and guilty right there. More of a mental lapse than anything else.
Von Wald will handle the inbound to Stoltenberg. Defense, it's out of bounds, and last touched by Daryl Schaffeld, and will head the other way. 5 on the floor for Wright State. Hollingsworth, Regin Stewart, Mandy Jelinek, Kelly Waters, and Lenore Combs.
Good defense by Hollingsworth and Jelinek, last time down by the Wright State Raiders on defense.
Last touched out of bounds by Corin Von Wald, and now the inbound will go to Lenore Combs up in the front court, and we'll wait for her troops.
Wisconsin-Milwaukee tightening up a little bit on defense here.
Waters looking to go, double teamed, off glass, no good, but the foul.
Good strong move to the basket by Kelly Waters.
Fouls on Stephanie Kaufman. Kaufman, her first, and that'll be the team 6th as team fouls are even for both sides at 6 apiece. 2 throws coming up for Kelly Waters. Perfect from the line this year and this afternoon. She's now 3 of 3, and we'll look for a 4th right now. In and out, her first miss of the year, and the Raiders lead it by 10. Von Wald, give and go, now the kick out, and off glass and home for Daryl Schaffeld, and an 8-point lead once again. And now pressure on the inbounds. Stewart in a hurry, breaks the press. Jelinek has it bounced away, regains it. Lenore Combs for 3, no good. And the loose ball will go down to Corin Von Wald. He nearly got Kelly Waters over the back, but Wisconsin-Milwaukee will retain the half-court offense.
Kelly Waters trying to fight back, didn't expect Von Wald to pull it up like she did that time. Great job by Jelinek. Oh, that should have been a jump ball.
It should have been, but they'll get Mandy on the foul. No, we'll head the other way. And the foul will go on Janelle Jonason, and head coach Sandy Botham for Wisconsin-Milwaukee is just not a happy person right this moment.
If anything, you could have said that Jelinek was the one who was guilty of the foul. I'm sure Lisa Fitch isn't going to argue. He's not going to say, hey, let them shoot. We'll be content with that.
Let's take a look at on the replay.
There's a pass inside. Waters makes the slap at it, and there, right there. Right there, she reached in with the right hand.
Front end of the 101, no good for Jelinek. Reverse J is good. Lenora Combs, a showtime move, and its lead is now once again 10.
That's a Sports Center move by Combs, if ever there was one here this afternoon. Great move.
And a foul, and it's on Regin Stewart.
And there's Sandy Botham, not one of the happier campers here in the Nutter Center right now.
Regin a reaching foul, her 4th foul of this afternoon. 7th team foul now for Wright State. Jonason will check out. Kelly Lubers, the starter, will check back in. 1-and-1 opportunity for Von Wald. Perfect from the line this afternoon, and she continues to be so, 5 of 5.
The team 10 of 12, that's a great shooting percentage as a team from the free throw line.
Lane violation. Wave off the basket. Timeout charge to Wisconsin-Milwaukee.
Probably a good timeout here. We're under 5 minutes to go, and you've got to conserve the clock as much as what you can and take the chances when you can discuss things with your team. You're trying to make that run, and from a Wisconsin-Milwaukee standpoint, just one little break going their way, that could be the trigger.
We got a full, I'm sorry, go ahead, Kevin.
On the other hand, for the Wright State Raiders, they've got to continue the patience they've shown on the offensive side and not get caught up in what Wisconsin-Milwaukee is going to run and try to pick up the pace a little bit. They've got to slow it down, play their style of basketball going down the stretch here.
52-43, Wright State looking for their first conference win to even their mark at 1-1. Both teams came in with similar records of 4-8 and 0-1 in the conference opener. Wright State will proceed to head on the road for 3. In fact, on the 12th, they'll be at Loyola. On the 14th, they'll be at UIC, and then they'll have a non-conference matchup against the University of Denver on the 19th before coming on home on the 23rd. That's a Saturday against Butler, and if you want to come out to that one, well, it's a 1 o'clock game time start, and we hope to have you along. If not, well, you can, of course, watch it on TV, as we hope to have Tony Rush back on with us here for that broadcast. 4:34 left to play in this ball game, 52-43. Wright State looking to keep that momentum up high. Vandergeest to inbound to Regin Stewart, and she'll break the press herself. Jelinek now with the ball. Pressure, it's on the floor, loose ball, and picked up by Kelly Lubers, and here comes Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Von Wald behind the arc. The dump down. Now the kick back out. Baseline move. Von Wald, high off glass and home. Well, she answers the reverse J from Lenora Combs, and it's now 52-45.
And Wisconsin-Milwaukee picking up the intensity up this trip by Wright State.
Poked out of bounds, foul on the floor.
Kelly Lubers is going to be guilty of the reach-in. Take a look at this trip up by Regin Stewart. The slap there from behind. Now she's going to fight for it, and there's a reach-in by Lubers.
Stewart will head to the line. 0 of 2 from the charity stripe this afternoon. First one is home. Regin averaging a team-leading 11.5 points a ball game. Jonason will come back into this ball game for Kelly Lubers.
Jonason has 4 personal fouls.
We're under 4 to play. Brick off the back. Vandergeest fought for the rebound, but Kaufman comes up with it. Von Wald finds Schaffeld back into this ball game. Gets a double screen. In the lane, no good. Fight for it underneath, and Schaffeld comes away with it. Von Wald goes underneath. Luxinger, no good. Kaufman the rebound. We have a tie-up, and it still will be a Wisconsin-Milwaukee ball.
Good defensive effort there by the Wright State Raiders. Going to force Wisconsin-Milwaukee to have to inbound the basketball.
Regin Stewart will come out. Waters will take her place with 2 on the shot clock. Von Wald goes for Sheffield at the buzzer, no good. And coming up with it is Lenore Combs.
We have to see how many more times the Wright State Raiders are going to be able defensively to have Wisconsin-Milwaukee be forced to run the string, as we say, on the shot clock.
A literal over-the-back call on Corin Von Wald. Von Wald, her 3rd foul, the team's 9th. So Jelinek will head to the line, and a 1-on-1 opportunity for Mandy. 0 for 1 from the charity stripe, and she's 0 for, and the rebound to Kaufman. Under 3 minutes to play. Raiders have been in control since the early part of the second half. Luxinger, guarded by Chanda Hollingsworth. Gets a screen, will take it to the hoop, and no good. The volleyball match, and Luxinger will come down with it. Now here comes the scoop shot back the other way. Corin Von Wald, the team leading a game high, 17 points for her. It's a 6-point Raider lead.
And the Raiders can't be playing that Ole defense, especially with this much time left on the clock. We've already let the lead evaporate to 6 points.
Gretchen Stewart will come into this ball game. And Terry Stoltenberg will also re-enter. Actually, she'll take the place of Kaufman. Regin's still waiting to come on. Well, she's actually now back in. She will trigger the inbound. It'll go to Jess Vandergeest. Regin on the far wing. Goes underneath. Jess Vandergeest nearly fouled, but will get the ball. Pops in the lane, and a foul underneath.
Good job by Vandergeest, taking it strong to the basket. Drew the foul, going to the line.
Look at this one on the replay.
There you see the strong move and the foul by Luxinger.
Vandergeest, that one is home. Free throw percentage tonight has not exactly been the strong suit for Wright State, as we have a timeout on the floor. So with that, why don't we take 1-2 with 2:06 left to play in this ball game. Raiders by 7, and we'll be back in just a moment. Vandergeest awaiting her second free throw. That one's up and out, and the rebound goes to Kelly Waters, and Wright State will get another chance on O.
Good timeout by Wisconsin-Milwaukee to ice Vandergeest. She missed it, but Wright State able to rebound. Manny Jelinek's going to go to the free throw line. The Wright State Raiders, they're going to earn this victory from the free throw line here in the second half. Only 5 of 14 in the game. They got to improve on that here down the stretch.
Jelinek, first of 2, and sends that one on home. Foul is on Daryl Schaffeld, as now Wright State's in the double bonus. Waters comes on out, and Regin Stewart back into this ball game. Mandy gets them both. 9-point lead for Wright State, a $1:59 left to go in this one. Stoltenberg goes on over far side. Von Wald back up on top. Schaffeld to the paint. Hole up, no good. Everything but the basket. Last touch though by Vandergeest. Or was it? No. It was out on Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Looks like Jonason underneath, and Vandergeest will get to inbound. Regin quickly up ahead. Loose ball on the floor, but Lenore Combs picks it up. And Mandy Jelinek fouled by Stoltenberg, and she'll have another opportunity at the line.
Regin Stewart, one of the leaders on the team, pushing up the basketball like that. I think in that case, you probably want it in the hands of either Hollingsworth or Jelinek on those trips up court.
Taking a look at this one on the replay.
There you see the foul.
Jelinek gets her first of 2 here in this try. 3 of 5 from the line this afternoon.
Raiders quickly back out to a 10-point advantage.
Gets them both. The lead is 11, 58-47.
Time the ally of the Wright State Raiders.
The kick out, Stoltenberg. Baseline, pull up, too short. Touched out of bounds, and Wisconsin-Milwaukee will get another track at it.
Jelinek, a good swipe at it there, fighting for the rebound, but it went off her out of bounds.
Here's the pull-up from 18. It's a little wide. Fight for it. The rebound. Wisconsin-Milwaukee comes up with it. Schaffeld has it on high, guarded by Jonik. Will pull up at the free throw line. Up, no good. Last touched by Jonason, and we will head the other way.
And one of the things that I'm impressed with Manny Jelinek is the fact that she keeps her feet moving on defense. That is one of the things that is so hard to try to teach young basketball players, the fact that once you stop moving your feet, you're in a position for the offensive player to dictate where he's going to go or she's going to go with the basketball. When you keep your feet moving, you're in a position to move with them. And that time, Manny Jelinek, good defensive pressure. So, folks, maybe one of the tips here you can learn playing basketball, keep your feet moving and don't get caught up in the air. That's one of the other things. You're so, people like to see the block shots and whatnot, on defense. But when you're up in the air and have offensive players down on the floor, you're dead meat, so to speak.
The game high in this ball game belongs to Corin Von Wald. She has 17 points on the afternoon, but look at the balanced scoring Wright State has put out en route to their 58 points.
And when you got Williams and Combs with 11, and you got 3 players, Hollingsworth, Stewart, and Vandergeest, each with 9 points, Lisa Fitch has got to be pleased with that fact. You don't have one superstar getting all the points. You're moving the basketball around. You're getting a lot of different hands. And it's been a case, too, in this ballgame, especially there in the first half, Jeff, that one person has stepped up at crucial times with the hot hand, and not just one player. You're not relying on just one person to carry the load.
All right, State's been in control ever since they went on that 14-7 run to start off things in the second half. They lead it by 11. And the reach-in foul is on Daryl Schaffeld, and now Chanda Hollingsworth will head to the line.
Be her fourth, so Wright State Raiders have a chance to put the nails in the coffin, so to speak, from the free throw line.
2 throws coming up. Only 1 tick of the clock went off from that timeout all the way onto the inbound. Chanda at the line, and her first attempt will rattle on home.
Hollingsworth coming in an 82% free throw shooter, the one you want at the line in this situation.
And she's in double digits tonight with 11. 60-47. Von Wald's nifty dribbling up high. Schaffeld behind the arc. Now drives, scoops, no good. And the rebound, Manny Jelinek, and she's knocked down to the floor by Schaffeld, and she's out of the ball game.
That's 5 on Schaffeld, so she'll take an exit from the basketball game. And it, almost as importantly as the fact you got the balanced scoring, Jeff, the fact that and we're going to take a look at this last fight for the loose ball. There you see the move, and Jelinek getting herself in position, and there you see the foul by Schaffeld. Almost as important as the balanced scoring is the fact that you've got 4 people with good numbers rebounding. You got Stewart with 7, you got Waters and Vandergeest each with 6, and Combs with 8. That is almost as important as the scoring, because you know that's giving yourself either a chance offensively or limiting the other team defensively with the basketball.
So the 5'8" junior from Palatine, Illinois, fouls out of the ball game. 9 points for her. And the first one from Manny Jelinek will rattle on home. Now she's all of a sudden found a little touch from the charity stripe. In and out. And the rebound goes to Jess Vandergeest.
Vandergeest and Jelinek, 2 Wisconsin products. Got to wonder if Sandy Botham is shaking her head why those 2 got out of state and playing down here in Ohio, not playing for one of the home state teams.
Foul, a pretty heavy one by Stoltenberg.
Vandergeest out of Merrill, Wisconsin, and Manny Jelinek out of Hortonville.
So you know they know some of these ladies here for Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Likewise, the Green Bay team that we saw 2 nights ago. Hollingsworth to the charity stripe once again and will ace the first. And the Raiders have their biggest margin of lead here with 42.6 seconds left to go. And we'll up that to 16 points, 63 to 47.
And Lisa Fitch maybe a little more relaxed than we've seen her all afternoon, allowing herself to sit down for the final seconds of the game.
Stoltenberg pops the 3 and will leave it short, and the rebound to Jess Vandergeest. And we have yet another foul.
And we're going to see 5 fresh faces in the ball game for the Wright State Raiders to finish out the game.
Carmen Mann out of Hilliard, just up the road from Columbus, will check on in. So will Renata Springer out of Shelby. Bender will check back in. So Waters and Janine Andrews out of Indianapolis, the junior out of Indy, will come back in also.
First appearances by Mann and Springer.
Jess gets the first, 17-point lead. Andrews waiting to check in for Vandergeest.
Another thing that's nice is let everybody that's in uniform get a chance to play.
101, stick back from Kelly Waters is home.
And immediately whistle sounds to get the player in for Wright State, as we see 4 fresh faces in the ball game for Wisconsin-Milwaukee, as Sandy Botham is just about as much as anything conceding this one to Wright State.
26.2 seconds left to go in this one. Shot clock turned off. Kaufman will inbound. Janine Andrews into this ball game for Jess Vandergeest. And it's time to wrap things on up. Sarah Martish back, leading at the point. Will pop the 3 and knock it down.
The other thing that Lisa Fitch, I'm sure, is want to see is these new faces in the lineup. You can't let up. You're playing for playing time right now. You're getting a chance to maybe increase your minutes in the ball game, and you've got to be just about as intense as what the other players were earlier in the ball game.
The inbound will come from Carmen Mann. Will go to Carrie Bender, guarded by Martish, and they're just going to play straight up, no fouling at this point. Going for Kelly Waters. Now for Janine Andrews. They might play keep away here to close up shop. Bender now taken away by Kaufman. Will not get the shot off at the buzzer, and this game has come to a close. Final score here at the Irvin J. Nutter Center. The Wright State Raiders win us going away by a score of 66 to 50. Kevin and I will come back and wrap things up, and we'll return to you in just a moment. Triumphant return to the Irvin J. Nutter Center. Wright State wins this one going away. Final score 66 to 50 over a pretty good Wisconsin-Milwaukee team. However, they dropped to 0-2 in the conference. Wright State did a great job tonight, Kevin, by having 4 scores in double figures.
And any time as a coach that you can have that many players in double figures, Lisa Fitch has got to be pleased. And you had Regin Stewart with 9 points, so conceivably you could say you had 5 players in double figures.
It was a very nice output here for Wright State, especially in the second half. They had a 3-point lead going into the locker room at intermission, and they outscored them 40 to 27 here in the second half.
There were a lot of question marks, namely defensive intensity and offensive patience going into the locker room, and the Raiders established that right off the offset in the second half with the intensity on defense, and they were very patient when they needed to be on offense. They let the defense dictate their offensive looks at the basket, and they were able to come in. Now, the thing of it was for Wisconsin-Milwaukee, you kind of figured one player was going to have a hot hand. You almost thought it was going to be Daryl Schaffel, but Corin Von Wall was 17 points. Wright State pretty much shut down the rest of the team.
In fact, Von Wald had the game high with that 17, but as we mentioned before, 4 players in double figures for Wright State, 13 to lead the team for Chanda Hollingsworth, 11 each for Amber Williams and Lenora Combs, and 10 for Jess Vandergeest. So an outstanding output, but you really have to key the beginning part of the second half to the Raiders' success. They went on a 14-7 run, and that really solidified the lead for the rest of the game.
That first segment of the second half, as you mentioned, Jeff, really did do the number for the Wright State Raiders. It was a close 3-point game. You had that 7-point advantage on that run up to a 10-point lead, and the Raiders really didn't look back from there.
Once again, the final score here at the Irvin J. Nutters Center, 66-50 in favor of Wright State. They move to a record of 5-8, 1-1 in the Midwestern Collegiate Conference. Wisconsin-Milwaukee falls to a record of 4-9 and 0-2 in the MCC. Some final thoughts, Kevin.
Good job by the Wright State Raiders. You're coming off a blowout loss to one of your conference opponents in Wisconsin Green Bay on your own home court. You answer it with a good performance here this afternoon. And I would say that Lisa Fitch has got to be pleased with the way the team responded in the second half. You got some momentum going down to that big 3-game road trip coming up.
Be sure to tune in tonight at 10 o'clock. Kevin O'Boyle and Mark Vest will have the men's team as they take on the Butler Bulldogs, and that one should be an exciting one right here. Otherwise, we'll see you back on the 23rd of this month. It'll be against the Lady Bulldogs of Butler, and Tony Rush and I will have the play-by-play for that one. Thanks to our entire crew here at Media One. They were directed this afternoon by Tom Stokes. So for Kevin O'Boyle, I'm Geoff Kim, as we bid you so long from Dayton. Good night, everyone.